Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. You're listening to the sports coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation. Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in the live on this one, man. And listen, much love. Saints making some moves, man. We got one preseason game left to go. There's been a quarterback named, a lot of stuff going on. Also, it's Thursday. It got a couple of NFL games that just kicked off. The Steelers and Panthers are underway. Panthers up 3-0. 7:00. Pats and the Giants will finish the Thursday slate tomorrow. The rest of the games followed by the black and gold on Saturday. So we'll see our beloved black and gold go to war on Saturday. They are among several other teams that'll be playing the final schedule right there. We'll talk about all this and then some on the show. So do me a service, fam. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Much love to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in the live on this one. Brother Gundam, big ups to you, sir. Good to see you. Dre Day in the building. Jones Jr., much love. My friend, Brother Thomas, is in this thing as well. Quavadius, Dana, shout out to the Queen. Byron, Brother Byron, OG Jared. There you go. That's the brother OG. Big ups to Brother Derek. How you doing, sir? Appreciate you as well. What's up, Tamika? Shout out to Tamika. Appreciate her for showing some love. Shout out to the Queen. All right, big ups to my boy Willie. Much love, Brother Willie. Dana, the Queen's in full effect. What's up, Bev? Shout out to you as well. Appreciate all y'all for being in the stream. All right, big ups to you, man. Appreciate each and every last. Bronze, Flat Power God, shout out to you. I don't want to forget any, leave anybody out. I think I got people. If you ain't got a who that, give me a who that. I give you a who that back, baby. All right. What's up, Michael? Shout out to Michael as well. Big ups to you, sir. Appreciate you. Doc 54's in this thing. L Dubs in this thing. Red T's in this thing. Shout out to all y'all. What's up, Brother Gregory? How you doing, sir? Appreciate you, my man, for stopping by tonight. Much love to the fam. Now, fam, this is going to be a lot of stuff I'm going to talk about tonight, fam. So I'm not going to tell you the famous phrase I always give, I'm not going to hold you long. I got a lot to talk to y'all about, right? That's good, though. It's Thursday night. It's Saint Talk, man. They got other games going on, man. And they ain't got a damn thing to do with the black and gold, baby. Let me say that again.
Talk, boy!
They ain't got a damn thing to do with the black and gold, the mighty Who Dat Nation. We ain't playing tonight. So, you know, we going to be in live direct effect in this thing. What's up, Night War Larry? Shout out to you, brother. Appreciate you for being in the stream. All right, so anyway, let's get right to it. Of course, yesterday the Saints pulled off a trade of some sorts. And by the way, fam, I have on the post page, I didn't put it in the link, but maybe I should put up the poll question. But I did one better. I put it in the comment section of the platform and it basically asked the question, grade the trade. It was a grade the trade, not a question, but it was a comment, grade the trade. What do you guys think about the fact that the Saints trade from yesterday, picking up the young wide receiver from the Denver Broncos, giving up 2 picks? We're going to decipher that. Was it good? Right now, we got a certain amount. We just put it up now to about 16 minutes ago. Right now, 94%. Matter of fact, I could put it on screen for the family members so they can see it. If you want to vote on the poll, you simply go to the post, the section of the, I guess right here, you go to the posts of the platform right here, and then it shows you the first post out is grade the trade, Who Dat Nation. Of course, you can see about 16 people did it right now, and they have 94% of the pollers said that it's a good trade versus 6% said it was an awful trade. So if y'all want to get y'all comments, y'all can feel free to do that, or just throw them in the chat like y'all doing right now. I was like, yeah, hey, man, Q, I ain't doing that shit. The hell with you on that, man. We're going to just put these damn grades right here and now. Okay, all right, I see it. All right, so anyway, Tamika, I see that's an A. All right, Gundam, B minus. Jerry says A. Willie says A. Derek says B minus. Bev, shout out to Bev again, says A. Michael says an intention is an A, but I still see it. He says see an offensive live. It's a B. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. All right, Byron says it's an A plus. All right, thank you, Byron. What's up, St. Doug? Shout out to you, bro. Says it was B. V Griffin, what's up, B? V Griffin says it's a B. Doc says C at the moment, but can be upgraded. So keeping an open mind, that's a positive, right? Dana says a B minus. Thank you, Dana. The truth is this. Number one, shout out to you, fam. Says A. Okay, I like a lot of good grades here. A lot of good grade going on here. All right, brother Greg says, I like the trade, but I think Mickey overpaid for it. A minus. Thank you, bro. All right. Black Major, what's up, Black Major? Shout out to you. What's up, Brian? Brian says it's a B. Shout out to you, man. Appreciate you. All right, big up. C. Quavatus says, I'll give it a C until I see how it works. Okay, I see what you did there. All right, what's up? Jan Doe says, finally catch you live. Who that? See you, great. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you for being here. Much love. All right, what's up, Desi, baby? Shout out to Desi being in the building. Mike also says, calling the, what do you think about? Yeah, so yeah, Deanna Rossini said the Saints will call. We're gonna cover that, Michael. I promise you, we're gonna get right on to it, bro. That's one of the things and one of the comments that I wanted, the stories and articles I wanted to touch on in this episode of the show. So, let's just hop right into it and get right to it. And this is the one we're gonna start off with: is why the Saints were comfortable giving up draft picks for wide receiver Devaughn Vele. Right, and I'm gonna give you guys a scouting report to kind of get familiar with who this wide receiver is. I'm gonna give you the full scouting report on him, so you guys can kind of get familiar with why the Saints made this move. But let's delve right into this article right here by NOLA.com. They were able to break it down, and pretty much what they said was, the national reaction to the Saints trade for Devaughn Vele was far from kind. Some of the commenters said, Saints, why are you like this? ESPN, somebody tweeted, Saints loaded up for week 18 win that gives them the 6th pick instead of the 2nd. Under no circumstances should the Saints be trading away draft picks right now. Pro Football Focus. So under Mickey, the Saints have a tendency to deal mid-round picks in an attempt to either show up the roster on margins or include them as a part of an aggressive trade-up. On Wednesday, the pattern continued. The Saints sent 2 picks, a 2026 fourth rounder and a 2027 seventh rounder, to Sean Payton and the Broncos in exchange for Vele. He is 6'5", 215-pound wide receiver who is coming off a nice 41 catch, 475-yard rookie season. Now, Vele's acquisition finally addressed New Orleans' glaring lack of size at the wideout position, but that didn't stop the criticism. The Saints critics urge against surrendering draft capital in what viewed as an unnecessary short-sighted move if Coach Moore's first year turns out to be the start of a multi-year rebuild, as many expect. Then why are the Saints trading a pick that could end up inside the top 125 of next year's draft? The Saints don't see it that way. This is what Moore said. He says, always, that's the tricky part. You identify players you really want, and then obviously there's a cost associated with it. He's a younger player. This is a second year, obviously, so he's on an initial contract in the NFL, and there's some value associated with that from a roster management standpoint. Certainly, we anticipate him being with us for a while. We feel like we're adding a really big piece that's going to contribute in a lot of ways. A big piece. Now, to more, the cost control aspect of Vele's contract can't be overlooked. He was drafted in the 7th round. He's set to make $1 million per season over the next 3 years, and as Vele was productive as a rookie. Moore said the wide receiver played, quote, really tough downs, end quote, that resulted in big plays. Statistically, Vele caught over 74% of his targets last season and converted 26 first downs. But Vele's age had also come under scrutiny because he served a 2-year Mormon mission after high school that delayed his football career, and Vele is 27 and will turn 28 in December. He is older, for instance, than Dallas wide receiver George Pickens, who was traded from Pittsburgh to this offseason in exchange for a 3rd-round pick in 2026. Still, the situations aren't the same. Pickens, in this case, is in the final year of his contract and is in line for a big raise in 2026. Now, whether the Cowboys are elsewhere, the sort of situation matter to the Saints, particularly at a position which starters Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed are going to be in need of deals soon. Indeed, Rashid Shaheed has 1 year remaining on his contract, and Chris Olave has 2. Moore said the Saints aren't concerned about Vele's age, nor are they worried about his knee injury that sidelined him for a portion of the training camp. Now, Vele did practice Thursday, but he did practice, but he passed the physical. The Saints too appeared to give up what they did because of the competition to acquire Vele. Broncos coach Sean Payton told reporters in Denver that one other team was more than serious in their pursuit for the wide receiver. He said Vele was one of the toughest trades of his coaching career. Come on, Coach Kelly, Coach Payton, cut it out. Forever the milker. All right, he's going to be a really good player for them. This is Coach Payton talking. Those are the tough ones. Really, I was able to come up with the 2 trades that were like that. Darren Sproles was a real tough one. I later regretted it. It also should be glossed over how much Vele's size fills a need for the Saints. As of late May, there were just only two teams to not have a receiver taller than 6'2" on their roster. The lack of size has been plenty apparent in the preseason, such as when Mason Tempton failed to run through a slant and was boxed out by a cornerback, then picked off, the cornerback picked off Spencer's pass. Vele, also intriguing, has done a lot of his damage from the slot, according to Pro Football Focus. 62% of his snaps came from that area. And according to Next Gen Stats, the 27-year-old caught 27 of the 41 catches from the slot position, resulting in over 300 yards. Moore said Vele will play in a variety of spots in New Orleans, which is key for us because we want to move our other pieces. At the same time, it is fair to wonder that if it was so obvious that the Saints needed to beef up at wide receiver, then why didn't the team act sooner? Signing a big-bodied receiver or drafting one of the team's 9 selections last April would have spared the Saints from coughing up future assets. The specifics might have dictated why, in free agency, the market was sparse with receivers who matched Vele's frame. And after the draft, Loomis said they wanted to take a receiver, but the timing didn't pan out. If something presented itself, it would have been awesome. Moore said Thursday, it didn't. Through the entire offseason, we just tried to build this thing as we went, and certainly was a valuable opportunity we did not want to miss on. So that's a very interesting thought process, as we've read from what they were saying about Vele and the Saints' decision to go after a receiver. Now, listen, fam, let me just say this, and y'all know that we've been saying the Saints need a big physical wide receiver this entire offseason. I watched film on Devaughn Vele. I mean, he's a talented wide receiver. And this is the thing. The Saints don't see this as a rebuild. Mickey Loomis hates the term rebuild. He hates the thought process. That's why he always has these veterans lingering around. He brings these veterans and piecemeals the team, adds young people to it, and tries to, in his mind, has a transition from an older team to a not so older team. You know what I'm saying? You did not exactly go from old to young, or old to young fast. That's just not how he operates in his mind, right? But the Saints, their behavior is like we're trying to win something now. But like I said, man, it's that was a good question the reporter asked. Kellen Moore said no situation presented itself at the time, but there were other guys out there that we could have picked on. But Vele's not a bad guy. Let me show you something. Now, the comment about him being 27 years old and then next year he's going to be 28 years old. We're not concerned with that, according to what Kellen Moore said. That's the same stuff they said about Tyler Shuck. They don't care about the guy being old because in their minds, the Saints want to compete right away. In their minds. That's why they're not. I mean, you might disagree with it. Maybe you don't. But in the end, that's what they're in their mind. They don't care if Tyler Shuck is 26 years old next month. They don't care if Vele's 28 next year. All they care about is can these guys contribute right now? And that just seems to be the logic right now. And listen, if they can, they can. Now let's kind of look at the scouting report. Check this out, fam. Let me put this scouting report on the screen for y'all and show y'all something, right? Now, this is a scouting report that basically gives you everything, the kid's injury history and everything. Check this out. Devaughn Vele, second year wideout in the NFL, was recently traded to New Orleans Saints from the Broncos. He had a noteworthy rookie season. Despite being a 7th-round pick out of Utah, Vele recorded an official 40-yard dash time of 4.47. Did y'all know that? At the NFL Combine. So he's a 6'5" wide receiver that ran a 4.47 at the Combine, right? 6'5", 210. 40-yard dash 4.47. That's damn good. 36-inch vertical, arm length 33.5 inches, hand size 9 3/4. And then, of course, you look at the strength. For him, Vele possesses excellent size and strength, making him a physical receiver who can excel against press coverage and in contested catch situations. His catch radius and hands. He has a wide catch radius and strong hands, allowing him to track and secure the deep ball and make catches fluidly. He's considered a reliable target, especially in the red zone. Route running. Vele is the balanced and savvy route runner with good hands awareness. He can utilize his size and long speed on vertical routes. He demonstrates precision in short and intermediate routes. Effort and blocking. He's tough and a physical player who fights for extra yardage after the catch. He's also an excellent blocker in the run game, right? And then we get down to, of course, we talk about Vele's age and, and then, of course, people kind of look at that thing, kind of say the age thing was always going to be something that the team people seen as a problem, right? But anyway, let's get into it, man, because I see what they're trying to do, So anyway, weaknesses, right? Age 27. He's 27 years old and will return 28 in December. So, okay. He's 27 right now, and in December he becomes 28, which can be a concern for a player entering his second NFL season. He's an old rookie. He's a second year man. That's old. But if he contributes and he's a starter and he's playing for you right now, the thing on older players, right? The knock on older players is people tend to overlook the older players if the older players are mature enough to come in right away and start making things happen, right? So most teams will then be patient with an older player, right? And this guy came in with Denver as a 7th-round selection and had a really decent year for a 7th-round wide receiver. Over 40 catches, over 700 yards, and he had 4 touchdowns or something to that degree. I'm gonna pull up his stats momentarily as a part of the scouting report. But the maturity thing, that's what they're saying. If it's a team that wants to compete right away, then they figure that older player is more mature than that younger player. That's how the Saints are seeing it. That's why they don't have a problem with Tyler Shuck or giving up 2 picks for a 7th-round pick from last year who's going to be 28 in December. They don't have a problem if it contributes to success. So that's what's going on there. So the Saints are definitely going to be hearing it from a lot of these, people on outside criticizing them giving up 2 picks for a 7th-round wide receiver from last year. But whatever, if it leads to wins and productivity, you that shuts all that down. All right. Anyway, suddenness and lateral agility. He lacks the suddenness and lateral agility to consistently create separations horizontally. His top end speed is considered good, but not exceptional, meaning he doesn't always necessitate or safely to help over the top. He doesn't necessitate to get there. Drops. He's shown some issues with drops, particularly when coming back to certain plays, to comeback routes, some of this type of stuff. Then you look at his performance, his numbers. 13 games last year, 41 catches, 475 yards. He had 470, said 7, but it's 475. He had 3 touchdowns last year and averaged over 11 yards per catch, which means every time he caught the ball, it was more than the first down, which is good. His longest reception was 37 yards after the catch, 135 yards after the catch. Big wide receiver that needs 2 guys to bring him down. His receiving success rate is over 63%, close to 64. Okay, and this is what the Mile High reports also add into the scouting report about Mr. Vele, is that he says contextually, Mile High report notes that Vele was among the most reliable receivers on the Broncos in terms of converting targets into receptions. However, after the knee injury and a crowded depth chart in Denver, Vele was recently added to the Saints. So the scheme fit and potential. Vele's size and strength and strong hands make him a good fit for a West Coast scheme or a spread offense where he can be utilized with long speed on vertical routes. He is seen as a reliable possession receiver who's willing to contribute in the run game as a blocker. While his age raised some concerns, his potential for development and strong hands should suggest he could become a reliable contributor, potentially competing for the number 2 wide receiver role on the Saints alongside of Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. Now, of course, as we go into the player history, Devaughn is his second-year receiver here, and this is his history breakdown. His breakdown in a rib injury of last year. Vele missed 4 games during his rookie season in 2024 due to a rib injury. He suffered cracked ribs in week 1 against the Seahawks. He did not return to practice later in the season. He did return to practice, and he was removed from the injury report in week 3, but he was a healthy scratch for a few games as he recovered. Then he had the lower leg knee injury. Vele missed, and they said 2025 offseason preseason. Vele missed the Broncos mandatory minicamp in June due to a lower leg injury, which was later identified as a knee issue. Broncos coach Sean Payton indicated they were being cautious with his knee, managing his practice load to ensure he was fresh. The Saints recently reportedly aware of Vele's knee injury. They said the Saints reportedly are aware of that knee injury when they traded for him and were not concerned as he practiced and passed the physical before the trade, and he's considered healthy by the Saints. So that is some of the scouting report on Mr. Devaughn Vele and some of in his speed. And like I said, impressive numbers. And he fits, like we talk about. You wanted a big wide receiver. The Saints got one. 6'5", 210 plus pounds. Has 4.47 speed. And we were saying, man, let's get us an MVS or something like this. But this guy is more physical than the MVS, and he makes his bones in the slot position of the toughest area. So the Saints CMS, they called Kellen Moore, as we just read, calls him a big piece of the Saints offense. So this guy will come in and be one of the top 3 guys. With me, Brandon Cooks is going to slide down in the rotation, baby. So, but still in all, you still have a track team. You still got a track team. You got a track team. All these guys can run. Cooks can, Olave can move. Rashid Shaheed's the fastest guy on the field. He can move. Let's see what I name. Olave, Rashid, all them guys speed. You got this guy here, Vele, who is 4.47 in the 40, big guy that can move. Brandon Cooks still can move. Mason Tipton can run really good too. He's very fast. And then Pettis. And so all these guys are got really good 40 times. So we still got a track team the Saints are building. It's going to be fun watching what happens with this whole situation. All right, so as Vele arrives, somebody got to go, right? And it is Donovan Peoples-Jones. Donovan Peoples-Jones was released to make room for Devaughn Vele. Shout out to the Saints wire. Saints acquired a wide receiver on Wednesday, which likely signaled them moving on from one of their other options. The decision was made on Thursday. Shout out to Nick Underhill. He reported that Donovan Peoples-Jones was being released to make room for Devaughn Vele. Makes sense that Peoples-Jones would be the one cut, as the two players accomplished similar things. They're both big targets that will likely stand out as blockers and possession receivers. Peoples-Jones signaled early this offseason to expand, or he was signed rather to expand the receiver room. He didn't end up making any waves. I mean, nothing. He didn't do a damn thing. Nothing for Donovan. We had a lot of high hopes from Donovan Peoples-Jones. I mean, nothing. Nothing. He did nothing at all. So anyway, the Saints ended up putting him in the street. They signed him to a 1-year contract in free agency, and it was expected that he'd add immediate catch production with deep ball capabilities. However, Peoples-Jones has been a non-factor through training camp and has no catches through 2 preseason games. With the recent trade for wideout Vele and the emergence of Mason Tipton, Donovan Peoples-Jones likely needs a tremendous strong push late to make the Saints roster. If he's released as expected, and he was, then that's what it was. So he gets put in the street. So the Saints wide receiver room now includes Vele, Tipton, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, Cedric Wilson Jr., and Dante Pettis as those vying for a role in the offense this year. It'll be interesting to see what the decision making looks like here with Vele a lock to make the roster. So Vele, Tipton, Olave, Shaheed, and Cooks. So that's 5 guys right there, right? Vele, Tipton, Olave, Rashid, and Cooks. That's 5. The Saints ain't going to be keeping 6 guys. But it's interesting that, with him being here now, does this mean something is going, does Cooks not make the team? Do the Saints still keeps Cooks if that is indeed the case? Because they need somebody to be a special teams person. I know Cooks ain't going to be the guy. So does that put Cooks on the bubble? By getting Vele here and pushing Brandon Cooks to the 4th wide receiver now, and Brandon Cooks doesn't play special teams, this could possibly put Brandon Cooks. Now, we'll see how it goes because Mason Tipton, in my opinion, Vele, Tipton, Olave, Rashid, and Cooks, that's 5. Somebody got to return the kicks, and that might be Dante Pettis. We'll see. We'll see how it all goes, man, with that guy here, because he's obviously seen as a top 3 wide receiver for the Saints receiver room. That pushes Cooks down. So we'll see what goes on there. Just interesting, just throwing that around, but yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones already in the street. The Saints had to make room for Devaughn Vele to join the team. All right, anyway, man, let's keep this thing moving along, man. And shout out to Devaughn Vele and welcome to the Saints, man. We give him, a round of applause and welcome the wide receiver, Devaughn Vele. That's right, brother. Welcome to the Black and Gold. Big wide receiver, Chris Hall, and we talked about it, man. And listen, I know it's the picks and all this kind of stuff, but the guy, 6'5" guy with 4.47 speed, we always wanted to see what that big possession speedster would look like next to a healthy Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, right? We always want to see that. And we'll see what that looks like, man. We're going to get a chance to look at that, man. We might get a chance to look at it on Saturday. So let's keep this thing moving, man. Let's talk about it, man. Another Saints starting offensive lineman went down with an injury. And here's the latest stuff right here from him, man. So shout out to NOLA.com. As the Saints are still dealing with injuries on offense. And just like I said, the depth is a big thing. Shout out to Matt Paris. The New Orleans Saints tackle Taliese Fuaga missed Thursday practice with a knee injury, marking yet another offensive lineman to get hurt for the Saints in recent weeks. Moore said Fuaga's injury was, quote, nothing major, end quote, but he got hurt near the end of Wednesday's practice in the Superdome. After playing left tackle as a rookie, the Saints moved Fuaga to the right side in his position in college this offseason. Quote, he had a little something happening and we'll just keep an eye on him, end quote. Moore said later, adding, quote, he practiced pretty much all of practice Wednesday, end quote. If Fuaga is indeed able to return quickly, New Orleans will have been fortunate to avoid another significant injury up front. Left guard Trevor Penning suffered a foot injury, reported turf toe back on August the 10th, preseason loss to the Chargers. That will keep him out for 4 to 6 weeks. Moore was non-committal when asked if Penning would be ready for the team's September the 7th season opener against the Cardinals, though added that we would take the next few weeks to monitor his progress. Penning was seen at Wednesday's practice with a walking boot on his right foot. The Saints also experienced 2 season-ending injuries along the offensive line. The team third-year guard Nick Saldiveri on injury with that knee issue, and veteran center Will Clapp was lost for the year with a foot injury. The blow to the Saints' depth caused the team to acquire Luke Fartner from the Jags and sign guard Shane Lemieux and Mike Panasoic. Last year, the Saints were decimated by injuries in the trenches, notably losing McCoy for most of the season with groin and elbow injuries. Guard Cesar Ruiz and Lucas Patrick also missed 4 games apiece. So, there you go with some of the stuff that we've seen happening in terms of that. And, man, yeah, and like he said it wasn't nothing too much significant with the Fuaga thing. But, boy, when you start talking about injuries to your offensive line, and you're going to really be counting on those guys to open up the year, it's going to be interesting, man, because best believe until our young quarterbacks can prove to the NFL that they can throw the ball downfield, defense will stock the box to stop Alvin Kamara and force Spencer Rattler, because that's what I believe will start the season of beating them. He got to show him, which I think he's capable of. So it's going to be an interesting season for the Saints, regardless of how you cut it. All right, so anyway, let's keep it moving, man. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep on moving. And speaking of of Rattler, the Rat Man, listen, Saints announced Spencer Rattler will start the preseason finale, a sign that he has inside track on the week 1 job, because that was the question. The question was, who's going to be the person that opens the final preseason game? Because remember, for what the last couple of weeks, trend has been that whoever is the quarterback of the first team struggles. That's been a trend. The in week 1, that was the trend. Week 2, that was the trend. Whoever is running the first team, because the first team is so disjointed. Is so disjointed in how it operates that whoever is quarterback in the first team is having problems, and whoever gets in there with the second team is handling their business. So if I was Kellen Moore, I would really consider playing my starters a little longer, because you do have between the last preseason game, which is Saturday, and the start of the NFL regular season for the Saints against the Arizona Cardinals when we kick off. That's a good stretch of time that teams are going to be apart. Like usually we'll run right up to it. You'll have the preseason game, and then next week, in years past that, you have that, but there's a grace period now that they have between that preseason and the start of the regular season. So that gives the teams extra time to kind of fill out the teams and see what guys that they're going to draft as they tool up, guys who they gonna pick up off the waiver wire, or guys who get cut. They're gonna bring them in and claim them. So you're going to see movement by teams like the Saints going into this period, and I really do expect there to be some movement happening, because look what they're doing now. The crazy part about it is the last 2 weeks, the Saints are making trades, but they're making trades to teams that they playing. I mean, it's the craziest thing out here. You're making a trade, but hell, we made a trade. Hey, Jacksonville, y'all want this big guy right here? I will take that center over there. It's crazy. They made a trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars. They just played them. Now they make a trade with Denver. They got to play Denver Saturday. Like, what are they doing? But nonetheless, the movement, how they trade and getting ready for the start of the regular season, you better believe there's going to be some movement when the waiver wire hits, and the Saints going to claim people off the waiver wire to kind of help their situation, especially with injuries and stuff like that happening between now and then. They want to be able to put the best product they possibly can on the field moving forward. But anyway, Let's kind of delve into the article right here. The New Orleans Saints are the lone NFL team yet to announce their week 1 starter at the quarterback position. If the depth chart for Saturday's final preseason game is an indication, second-year pro Spencer Rattler could be the favorite. Rattler will start the team's preseason finale, Saints head coach announced today. Moore did not make any declarations on whether Rattler will start week 1, but he did tell reporters he planned to play as many starters as possible during the contest, which is good, especially after watching them play as poorly as they have in the last 2 weeks. You got to make sure you get them starters in there, but get them as many reps as you possibly can smartly, because after this, you got that nice lull between here and there being the start of the regular season. But you want to at least go out on a high note, right? You want to get a win. You lost, you tied. Now you want to get a win that's balanced. Something psychologically for the team, as well as the fact that, you want to see your offense, or your first team offense, defense gel. You want to see a solid performance, something that they can take into the regular season. You know what I'm saying? So take advantage of these reps as much as you can. And this preseason is what the Saints have been doing. It's been a very exciting preseason, probably the most exciting preseason that we've had in some time. Dealing with these young quarterbacks and Kellen Moore being here and all of the change to the defense going from 43 to 34. We've seen this has been a very popping and cool preseason for us, to be honest with you. Right. All right. So Moore also outlined the order in which the quarterbacks will play. He said Rattler being followed by, he says, will play with Rattler being followed by Tyler Shuck. Then Jake Haener will serve as the third quarterback during the contest. But if it's one of the situations where he needs to see Tyler Shuck, Moore or Rattler or Shuck Moore, you can just throw Jake Haener out. Jake Haener is not in the competition unless it's, 2 or 3 snaps toward the back in the game when it doesn't matter. But if it's a close competition like he's making it to be, it'd probably be between those two guys, right? Haener don't need to see the field, right? I mean, he doesn't. We're trying to figure out who the guy is, according to Kellen Moore. We know who it is. Mike Triplett, shout out to him, says Coach Kellen Moore said the plan is to play as many starters as possible in Saturday's preseason finale. As the QB order will go, Rattler, Shuck, Haener. Saints haven't declared Rattler the official starter, but a clear opportunity to try and cement it. This certainly seems to hint at Rattler having the inside track on the starting job as long as he doesn't completely face plant Saturday. It seems like he'll get the week 1 starting nod. After selecting Rattler in the 5th round of the 2024 draft, the Saints pushed the former South Carolina quarterback into action during his rookie season. Rattler appeared in 7 games, 6 starts in relief of Carr. In those games, Rattler completed 57% of his passes, 4 touchdowns against 5 picks. The Saints weren't content on installing Rattler as the full-time starter. They selected Tyler Shuck. We all know this. So through 2 games, Rattler has completed over 71% of his passes with a touchdown against 1 pick, and Tyler Shuck has also 1 touchdown and 1 interception and has thrown for almost 71% of his passes. So yes, indeed, statistically very close, right? With both players posting similar stats, there's room for either Rattler or Shuck to walk away with the week 1 job, but his experience and the fact that he's starting Saturday's game, Rattler should probably be considered as the favorite to get the regular season job right now, which is not a surprise because a lot of people kind of looked at it and says, well, it makes sense, right? And if Spencer Rattler, if Tyler Shuck is not ready to go, you don't throw him in there. And like I said, man, let me show y'all this poll as well. This is a poll that we also have up on the comment on the section. We had over how many people? Almost almost 700 people voted on the poll. Who will win the QB job? QB1 for the season opener. Who will win QB1 for season opener? Out of over 660 plus people voted, 85% of the people said, man, that's Spencer Rattler. 15% says Tyler Shuck. So that's the Who Dat Nation saying, hey, man, we're going to ride with the Rat Man on this one to take us into the season opener. And like I said, man, listen, I'm concerned about it because the first team has to, that's offense and defense. The first teams we have to see better performances. They're being outplayed optically and performance wise by the backups. The backups have done a better job. So we really need to iron out some wrinkles as much as we can in this final preseason game against Sean Payton, because it'll be cool to, number one, galvanize offensively and defensively and show some positive reps from the first team, get the win against Sean Payton, whether it's regular season or preseason, I don't care. Beat Payton in the dome, get your first preseason win, offense, defense, special team, put in a good performance, and then we carry that good energy into week one regular season, right? And through the cut week. So it's going to be interesting. All right, anyway, let's keep it going, man. And speaking of old man Coach Payton, Broncos plan to play starters for 8 to 10 plays versus the Saints on Saturday. That's what Coach Payton said. Broncos head coach Sean Payton told reporters today that the starters are set for 8 to 10 plays against the Saints. That's not just etched in stone. Then we'll get into our second phase and third phase. That's what Coach Payton said. I've said this week, but there's some real important decisions to be made. That means Bo Nix will get his second stint of playing time this preseason. He will be on the field for 19 snaps. He was on the field for 19 snaps in the opener, which worked out to be about 25% of the team reps. Nix was 6 of 11 for 31 yards in the game. Additionally, Payton noted that while first-round rookie cornerback Jahdae Barron did not practice on Thursday, he's okay and should play on Saturday. Payton noted that Barron just had soft tissue issues. So there you go. Coach Payton said 8 to 10 plays against the Saints. So Kellen Moore saying, man, we need to see more. And you ain't lying. All right, anyway, and then, of course, let's keep it looking and moving. The Saints looking for help at the running back position. Shout out to Saints wire John Sigler. He covered this scoop as well, and this is rumored going on right now that it's been a busy week for the Saints on the trade market, but they aren't finished yet. The Athletic's Diana Rossini reports that the Saints are among several teams calling around in search of help at the running back position. Rossini adds that the Browns and Chiefs are also in the mix. New Orleans has had many troubles finding a tag team partner for Alvin Kamara. Kendra Miller continues to flash big potential, but his durability a major concern given his history. Velus Jones, a 200-pound former wide receiver, is only rushing the backfield, averaging more than 3 yards per carry through 2 preseason games. You got to throw the offensive line in there too now. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had some nice moments in pass protection, but we haven't seen enough of those guys like Cam Akers and Marcus Yarns. Rookie 6th-round pick Devin Hill is hoping to dress the final preseason game after untimely hamstring injury took him out of action for the first 2 weeks of exhibition. So who could be on the Saints' radar? Who are the Saints looking at the running back position? The obvious one is Brian. They saying Brian Robinson Jr., a 3rd-round pick by the Commanders, who has fallen out of favor in his contract year. Robinson has put up career numbers last year, almost 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. Was held out of Washington's last preseason game due to ongoing trade interest from other teams. Other names to watch: Minnesota Vikings backup Ty Chandler, Green Bay Packer rusher Emmanuel Wilson. Chandler broke out with 460 rushing yards, over 4.5 yards per carry in 2023, but his role has been reduced in the backfield with Minnesota. Wilson has consistently produced when given opportunities, clocking a 5 yards per rush in 2 years, but there may not be enough touches to go around in Green Bay. Another name to keep an eye out is Jerome Ford. He's a run hard for the Cleveland Browns, improving his per carry average last year, and he has some versatility in the passing game, giving 5 touchdown catches. Cleveland may not be interested in extending his contract after this season, which could make him available. We'll have to see what the Saints can, what they're going to do. They can cut another deal before the roster deadline on August the 26th. They're already down to just 5 picks in the 2026 draft after trades for nose tackle Devaughn Vele, wide receiver Devaughn Vele, and it's not looking like they'll be getting a 4th-rounder back as a comp pick for cornerback Paulson Adebo. They also swapped defensive tackle Colin Saunders for Luke Fortner in a play-for-play trade with Jags. And for a team that was expected to let off the gas and stock up draft picks and reload for the search for their next quarterback, they aren't acting like it. Saints already got their next quarterback. They believe, and it's Tyler Shuck. They believe it's Tyler Shuck. It's just simply what it is. It's going to be an interesting season. I tell you what, man, it's going to be a very interesting season for the black and gold. A lot of trades, a lot of movements going on for the team as they gearing up to try to make it pop, man. So going to be very interesting, man, as we head into this Saturday matchup. Saints hosting the Sean Payton's undefeated Broncos. Going to be fun. All right, shout out to the fam, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Much love to the fam, man. Much love Much love, much love. Y'all got any questions, please feel free to throw them in the chat. Man, a lot of stuff going on. All right, shout out to Michael. He said, I think Shuck will start because of, he says, PR and politics. Okay, thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
I'm trying to say thank you very much for picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
All right, Michael, thank you for your super chat, my man. Appreciate you. All right, anyway, let's keep it going. Doc says we need a big wide receiver. I just don't like the 4th round pick. On the good side, he doesn't cost much. About $1 million a year over the next couple of years that you will have on his contract. And like I said, I studied the film on him. He's a very interesting. He's going to be a good weapon for you, no doubt about it. And a guy that's a big target like that, 6'5" guy, you watch the film on him, some of the things is he really good at making those contested catches. You know, he's physical. His route running is not perfect, but it is respectable for a 7th round wide receiver. I mean, you know, and for the Saints to look at him and say, hey man, this guy is a starter. And they give up 2 picks, like what was it, a 4th and a 7th? For a 7th rounder, for him to move up and become a starter, for him to be a starter with those guys, Kellen Moore must seen something special in this kid for him to to say, hey man, we making this trade, but hey, you are going to be a starter in our offense. And I'm saying that's what we've been asking for. I mean, the guy doesn't have much of a name, you know, he's not, you know, no Keenan Allen, nothing like that. But, you know, but he is a big wide receiver that can move. It's like that MVS thing. You know, he's bulkier. He's not as thin as MVS, but it's that same situation. It's a big wide receiver that makes the tough catches in the red zone, because you need that. Your guy you can just, you know, Spencer can turn to and fire in the corner of the end zone, and the guy goes up high points the ball, brings it down. You know, a good you know, player to play in opposition to Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, who's good at taking the tops off the defenses. Would be, like I say, would be interesting is with Vele arriving, what does that mean for Brandon Cooks? Could that be a kibosh on Cooks? I don't know. I know Mason Tipton stays. That they ain't talking about that. That's what I'm saying. I think Brandon Cooks is in trouble. And we talked about that before. It's like we need the big physical wide receiver. Okay, you trying we maybe you committing a track team. Now it just seemed like the Saints are just kind of looking at this thing and say, you know what, maybe them people was right. We do need a big physical wide receiver. Let's go ahead and see what we can get. So so I'm asking the question, where does that put Cooks? Is Cooks returning kicks for us or something? Because he better be. I mean, because it's just, I don't know. I think that put Cooks on the bubble. That's what I think. Unless they keep 6 wide receivers, which they're not going to do. They're more than likely keep 5 guys, and the guys that should stay, because he ain't going to get rid of Vele. They just gave up picks to get him. Rashid's going to be here. Olave's going to be here. Mason Tipton's going to make the team, and Dante Pettis should make the team. So that could put Cooks on outside looking in. We'll see, fam. We still got some time to decide, but hey, I think it puts him on the bubble. I really do. Now, of course, you could say Mason Tipton can return punts and all that. I like Pettis to do it. I don't think Cooks will do that at this stage. So this could put him on the bubble big time. All right, shout out to y'all, man. Appreciate you. What's up, Red T? All right, big ups to the fam. And let me see if y'all got any question right there. Red T says we only got 7 out of Thomas. Really? Let's see. He says 475 yards, 7 games, nearly 13 games. He's wide receiver capable of 1,000 yards. Should start every game. Indeed, that's a good investment in him. Michael says, honestly, I have already felt like Tipton should have become number 3 over Cooks. Indeed, I think Brandon Cooks is in trouble because he doesn't play special teams. So and when you get beyond the 3rd wide receiver, them other guys got to be doing something special team wise. That's what Pettis is. Pettis is a kick return or a punt return. He can do that. He's a returner for you. You got a returner history. Plus, he's cheaper and taller, and he's faster, or is probably as fast as Cooks. So this could be a problem. I think it could be a problem for Brandon Cooks. He in trouble. All right, what's up, John? Shout out says Q. Also, when Pettis couldn't do, he says when Pettis couldn't do the Vox Go Kid. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is, brother. Please retype. All right, L Dub says Peyton has and always will have Loomis in his back pocket as GM. All right. Fourth round, people saying, Q, how could you give up? And that's the question that people are like telling me or sending me or, or asking me. Q, how the Saints gonna give up a fourth round pick and a seventh round pick for a seventh round pick? What sense that make? Because the only reason way you do that is if you believe in the guy you got. If you believe that the guy could really help you. And he schematically he can help. He's something that you don't have. You don't have a 6'5" wide receiver that runs the full 7 in the 40. That is good at getting contested catches, and a great deal of his catches come across the middle. His first 20-something first 26 first downs on catches, nearly a lot of it across the middle and the physical and inside of where the Lions and Tigers and the Bears roam. I'm saying you simply do not have that. And that kid's bringing a dimension to your offense that you do not have. So, I mean, that in itself, it's a gamble, and like I said, man, the Saints drafted, what was it this year? How many all of their draft picks, the Saints drafted, they didn't trade none of their draft picks this year. Now, you got to also factor that into the logic, right? That they done gave up 1, 2, 3 picks for 2026, but they drafted the entire selection this year. And they usually, you trade here or there, this type of stuff. But the Saints didn't trade anything. They selected every one of these picks. And they believe in these guys. And Fadil Diggs it's got potential. Matavo's moving around a little slow, but he's still a big tight end that can catch, who's going to help you down the line, 6'8", 260. Then you add these other players into it, like Devaughn Vele. They didn't make a mistake with him. The Stutzman, Jonas Sanker, what's the Quincy Riley? They got some players. The Saints added some players in the draft. They had a solid draft of play, like all these players that we're looking at, except for maybe the big defensive lineman we got from Texas. You've seen sparse play from him because he's raw. He shouldn't have been taken in the third round, but he's a pick that Bo Davis, the defensive line coach, likes and thinks that he can bring the guy about. Vernon Broughton, he can be brought along. But the rest of these guys, Kelvin Banks Jr. and all these guys, they see a future with them. So when I hear them giving up the picks, I'm saying to myself, the Saints have all these other picks that they drafted all of the ain't trading anything this year, and they made a good side. If you think about the players they drafted, Vernon Broughton could have been a little later, but I think he's going to be good. Tyler Shuck went a little high there, but he believes in him. This sort of thing. They had overall, family had a solid draft. We just need to see how this thing plays out. And maybe that factors in their logic too. With all these players here, we're not far from where we need to be. You see? So we'll see how it all goes, man. It's a gamble. It's very interesting, man. I'm just saying, like the trades, like the Fortner thing. I'm looking like Luke Fortner. I watch Luke Fortner plays. He's inconsistent. Like when I was watching him with the Jaguars, maybe that changes. You get a new coach. Sometimes that kind of changes things around. It'll be interesting how he factors in there. The guy they picked up from the UFL all-star offensive lineman. How does he factor? I love Torricelli Simpkins' game, so it's going to be very interesting, man. And like I said, I still say the Saints have about 2 or 3 moves to make between now and when the cuts start happening. When they start claiming people off the waiver wire, you might see a couple of offensive linemen here. You might see you might see a couple of new guys on the waiver wire, claimed by the Saints. Things are going to change before that first week. You better believe it. Brother Derek says Mickey Loomis is a damn lie. He has 7 rounds to get a big body and wide receiver. That's on Kellen. Because we were saying it. And even when, you had not just in free agency, but there was also trades early on that you could have, you could make and things you could do and this type of thing. But once again, it's like why they don't do this, they don't do that, because a lot of this is done via imagination. You got to be able to have the imagination to see the need and go and do it. Like some teams see they got a need, like what Philly did not too long ago. They needed a player. They just go out and they go out and get the player that they want. Right. And the Saints is like, it all is dependent upon the imagination of the people in the building. Somebody got to be paying attention to the team. Say, hey man, how you feel? We need to consider an offensive. If Mickey Loomis told Kellen Moore, hey Kellen, I think we could use better backups on your offensive line. You consider that? He's the boss. That'll kind of force Kellen and like, you know what? Just take a look at it, study on it. I think we can do a little bit better. I did some research. Here's some names out here, guys on a trade, trade block, or guys that might fit. And you have that kind of talk. But if you don't have the imagination to see where you need players and you're not looking, that's what we were saying the whole time though. We know this team. We know that, hey man, you need better. I've been saying it all off season. Like the Saints haven't done enough for the backups. Taliese Simpkins is a good young player. That Mike Pasternak or whatever his name is, the UFL off lineman, on tape he looks good, but let's see how that game translates to the pro. Him dominating the UFL and all that kind of stuff, that's one thing, but the NFL is something totally different. His tape look good. How does that translate? Taliese Simpkins look good, but the rest of them do not. Barry Wesley don't look good. Landon Turner don't look good. Dylan Redunce doesn't look good. What's the other guys? They don't look good overall. Like if you moving in such and such. Now, listen, the backups look better than the starters, but is that a compliment? I mean, to be honest with you, I got to give them credit. Some of these backup guys did play better. They did play better, but I still would love to see, better backups here in the building, because we don't, we got injuries and stuff that's happening. You want to make sure you get some guys that been through it or some young guys you can trust. And these other guys shown some stuff. Lemieux, no. We done been there and done that. I don't know, but we going to see, man. We're going to see what happens, man. Red T said Cooks is wide receiver now. Yeah, LOL. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't, and listen, bro, I think Cooks, man, listen, let me get their depth chart. I think Cooks is in trouble, man. I think Brandon Cooks is in trouble. This wide receiver is bad news for Brandon Cooks. No doubt about it to me. You see, the Saints have Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, and they got Cooks. They hadn't changed this unofficial thing. But you can see Devaughn Vele's name added with Chris Olave. Then I think, and like I said, if it came down to 5, he's going to make it because they traded for him. We know Olave's going to make it, obviously. Rashid's going to make it, obviously. Mason Tipton should make it. And me saying I think Dante Pettis should make it. But Brandon Cooks is, like I said, he's a veteran, but he's the smallest wide receiver there. But I mean, I think he's shorter than Mason Tipton, I want to say. What is he, 5'10", 190? Yep, 5'10", 190. He in trouble. 5'10", 190, and I think Mason is 6 feet tall, I want to say. Mason is 6 feet. No, he's 5'11", too. He's 5'11" and 5'10". But Mason Tipton got the glow, man. Mason Tipton has the glow. I think Cooks is in trouble, man, because they ain't going to keep 6 wide receivers. This trade was bad news for him. Now, either you could probably see the Saints might be looking at trading him. We'll see how it goes, man. But, we talked about the Saints. Didn't we talk about the Saints offense not making enough moves like the defense was making? Remember we talked about that? And I kept talking about how schizophrenically different the Saints defense has been in terms of it going out, getting talent. Like if Isaiah Foskey, the slow man, wasn't handling his business, they brought the kid in from what's his name? Martin from the Browns. Remember, they brought him in here. They brought Jonah Williams in here. They brought Chris Rump II in here, who've been balling. So the Saints go out and they bring people in. When Tyrann Mathieu retired, the Saints instantaneously brought Julian Blackmon in here, and he'd been just knocking shit out the park ever since. You see what I'm saying? they did a stellar job, even from the draft standpoint, with Danny Stutzman, Jonas Sanker, Quincy Riley. These guys are potential starters. Like the Saints got a flock of different players that are potential starters. So the defense was adding pieces to it, and the defense was kicking the offense ass all preseason and training camp this year. Because if they need somebody, they go out and get it. What's your boy, the defensive lineman that used to play for the Vikings? What's his name? Jonathan Bullard. They got Jonathan Bullard. They brought in Jaden Peavy, who's the undrafted Jeremiah Martin. They traded for Devaughn Vele. They drafted the guys that they drafted. They brought in what's his name? Chris Rump, Jonah Williams. They bring these guys in. They improve the defense. They're not sitting around waiting for guys to get better. The man was proactive. Now the offense is starting to get that move with the the last two trades of the last 2 weeks have been offensive trades. They got a center. They traded for a defensive man for an offensive man. They turn around and use 2 picks to get a wide receiver that's going to be considered the starter. So the Saints turn around and got a Fortner. Even though people might have criticisms of Luke Fortner, you can't tell me Luke Fortner is not better than Will Clapp. I mean, I'm like, well, come on, man. What we talking here? You know, it's not like he gonna be worse than what Will Clapp is. Will Clapp is kind of on teetering down on his career. He wasn't quite the same guy. You know, it's the same. If anything, you'll say it's a wash, or he might just be a tad better than Will Clapp. So I mean, you can consider that somewhat of an upgrade. And then the picks to get a first string or potential starting wide receiver in Vele to go along with Olave and Shaheed. So that's what I was saying, man. And now the rumor mill is saying the Saints are looking for a running back. You know, you see what I'm saying? That's what they're saying. The potential, this is what Deanna Rossini is saying. The Saints rumor mill to be looking for a running back. So the offense all of a sudden, in the last couple of days before the last preseason, all of a sudden the offense is catching the defense vibes. Now they won't add all these people all of a sudden. And people that we've been telling them to get. We're saying you need a big ass wide receiver. You got these guys ain't tall, stay too short. Now they got you one. We need better backups. So they say, okay, let me go get Fortner. We lose Clapp. Let's get Fortner. You got to consider that an upgrade, can't you? So they're starting to get more proactive in their approach, getting ready before the regular season, which is interesting. You know, that's my thing. And that's the reporter was saying was, where was that energy? Where was that vibe and that energy earlier? Because that you always needed that. You always needed a better backup center. You always needed a big wide receiver. What all of a sudden changed? You see what I'm saying? What changed for them to say, okay, and make 2 trades in 2 weeks for stuff that we've been saying, hey, man, you need to get that shit. What changed that drastically for them to be, oh, shit. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't. Was it just watching the preseason games? Because that's what I was telling people. The man don't know the team like you know the team. But sooner or later, he going to come around to how you think. You see what I'm saying? He doesn't know the team like you know the team. He's still figuring them out. He's still evaluating these guys. But sooner or later, he's going to come around to your way of thinking, because your way of thinking is correct. The Saints need a big wide receiver in there for the red zone, a big guy next to Chris Olave. They need better centers or better backups behind the starters. He's still evaluating. So expect more things to change. Now, of course, to kind of talk about the rumor situation with the running back that we had that Deanna Rossini was talking about, that potentially could be some of these backs that they're saying the Saints looking for help at running back. You know, could it be that, is this an indictment on Kendre Miller? I wouldn't say it's an indictment on Kendre Miller. I wouldn't say, because Kendre Miller, for all intents and purposes, had a very solid, he's had a solid preseason. But, like I said, I don't just look at Kendre Miller and say, oh, well, Kendre Miller ain't doing such and such, without looking at that offensive line. I mean, he had some good runs that happened there, but but a lot of Kendre Miller's runs is him breaking tackles, twisting and turning and pulling away. A lot of his runs were him breaking tackles forcibly or making guys miss on the first step or this type of thing. Now he did have a run where he kind of went off to the left side, picked up speed, and kind of got close. Remember, he almost got the first down. He had some good runs and he's looked good. So maybe it's not necessarily Kendre Miller. Maybe the Saints are looking for a third back as well. Now, Velus Jones Jr. to me was interesting. Like if you went with the fourth, Devin Neal is banged up right now, so you don't know exactly what you will get with him. I know Cam Akers is done. Marcus Yarns hadn't shown enough. He added to the practice squad. I know Cam Akers is done. So that leaves 4 guys in my book: Kamara, Kendre, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Velus Jones. And we'll see what Devin Neal is at, because Devin Neal could probably be put on the PUP list or something, depending on if he's ready to go. I don't know how they're looking at him, but we'll see. But if you're looking at a running back right now to go along with what you have, this could be a situation where Devin Neal might not be healthy enough. They might be, because they got the medicals on this guy. They know if he can go or not. So this could be a situation where the Saints feel like they might need a little insurance policy with Kendre Miller. And also the third running back is not where they want it to be. So, I mean, things could change. We'll see, man. If this is a real thing and Deanna Rossini is reporting the Saints looking for a running back, it could be definitely insurance policy for Kendre Miller. But what's happened with the third running back? We'll see how it all happens, man. It's a lot of stuff to account for. All right, Gundam Shades. Mickey Loomis looking at friendship logic instead of business football operations with Coach Payton. All right, yeah. Red T says 447 is insane. 6'5", the guys, and I don't know if a lot of people know that, because when they traded for the guy, I say, how big is he? 6'5", and I'd say next down there I went and pull up his combine tape. Him running the 40 time at the combine. He ran like a 4.58 or something the first time, and then the second time he ran that 4.47. But I want to say it was a 4.48 on the tape. I want to say that the combine footage, because you can pull it up and watch it on YouTube, I think he ran a 4.48. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I want to say, they say it's a 4.47. I want to say it was a 4.48. I remember seeing on the combine footage, but whatever. All right. Anyway, John says Tyler ain't starting. Saints won. One win with Tyler. He ain't ready. Okay, thank you, bro. Duke, shout out to Duke, says, what up, Q? Shout out to brother Duke. Willie says, we need a wide receiver like that can give us a little. He said, give us a little Kent guard Mike production. There you go. All right, yeah, that red zone stuff, man. All right, what's up, Rex? Says Q. You think we need a bruiser type running back? Looks like we're going to. He says G to need yards after contact. Yeah, well, they looking, bro. And they mentioned in the article on screen, they talked about the running back from the Washington Whataburgers, Robinson. They mentioned him in the mix in a possible trade with the Vikings. There are other guys too, but Brian Robinson, who's a former third round back, but Brian Robinson was one of these backs that was dealing with, he's one of those backs that was injured a lot. So I don't know if you want to, go in that direction. I don't know if you want to go in that direction. So I don't know. I mean, we just have to wait and see if that's a real thing with the running back situation. But Robinson is definitely he would be better than I would say Robinson productively would be your second best back if you traded for him. I mean, his production's better than anybody not named Elvin Kamara. I mean, he's a big physical runner with speed and all this kind of stuff. And he would be better than a Kendre Miller, because he is more productive than Kendre. Kendre was hurt. This guy was hurt too, but his numbers are still better. So based on that, I think he can, if you trade for him, he would be your second best running back. But you're having those, a Robinson, a Kendre Miller, and a Elvin Kamara, that's actually a wonderful tandem. And if you have if you keep 4 running backs, Who would the third guy be? It would be Velas. I think it probably would be Velas because of his kick return application. The fact that you can spin him in the offense as a wide receiver and all this kind of stuff. You know, those guys treasure that versatility angle. Thank you, Rex. Shout out to you, bro. All right, Derek says, looking at the tape, he can run the whole route tree and appears to have good football IQ. Yeah, to give up the picks, it's a 7-round selection. The Saints gave up a 4th-round pick and a 7th to secure. Not bad at all. If he feels out, but they Moore believes in him, man. He's like, man, this kid's gonna be big. But like I said, and I say it again, what Vele brings the Saints offense is something they do not have. They don't have a 6'5" wide receiver that runs a 4.47 in the 40. That gets the bulk of his catches across the middle or out of the slot. That has 26 first down grabs and averages 11 yards a catch. That's more than a first down. So it's a lot to kind of throw in the mixture, a lot of positives. Yeah, he's going to be 28 coming up soon. But what does it matter if he's producing right now for you over the next couple of years, right? You got an old Tyler and an old Vele. So, I mean, if they're producing, then I think people kind of will forget their age if they're producing, right? Yeah, the Saints kind of really turned that down about that age thing. A lot of scouts don't like them to have to be that old and playing football. You know, they want them to be younger and still have a mature game to them. They kind of shy away those guys. That's why the guy was taken in the 7th round. There's those older players like that. They don't they don't want to spend them high picks on them. Saints don't have no problem giving up picks for these guys, obviously, if they believe they can play. Uncle Who Dat, shout out to you, bro. He says, what up, Big Q? Today I celebrate my okay, shout out to you, my brother. That's a round of applause on his birthday. Thank you, bro. My brother on his birthday, chiming in with the fam. Shout out to Uncle Who Dat, man. Look at the brother, a round of applause. Happy Who Dat birthday to you, bro. Shout out to you, man. Much love, my brother. Spending this time here with the great Who Dat, the great Saint think tank and the mighty Who Dat Nation, man. Shout out to Uncle Who Dat, man. We appreciate you, bro. All right. Trey say he all in on Vele. There you go, brother. All right. Slim, what's up, Slim? Shout out to Slim. Trey says he's going to be a great option for Rattler and Shuck. Big guy, 6'5", red zone weapon. All he has to do, bro, is throw it in the end zone toward the corner, and the man go up and get it. It's going to be fun, man. We're going to see. It's going to be fun. All right. What's up, Ty? Who Dat to you, fam? Appreciate you for being in the building as well. Much love to the fam. Y'all hit the like button. All right. Even Bobby Hebert, who's not a fan of Rattler, said Rattler should be the starter after combining everything he saw through. Yeah, indeed, bro, because the reality is the philosophy. Like, they can, in their minds, they can always go to Shuck. But it works. And we talked about this. We covered this before. We talked about this same phenomenon happening here. Shout out to JKen504 and B Frank on IG. Shout out to y'all, brothers. But this is the thing, man. We talked about this before, right? When we made mention of the fact that if the Saints feel they need to, they can always pivot to Shuck, right? So if they started off with Spencer Rattler and Spencer struggles, they can always pivot to Shuck. What if they did that in reverse? They started with Shuck and then he bombs, right? And then they pivot to Rattler. That's a different energy from that standpoint, right? And it could do more harm than good. So, of course, you're going to go with the more experienced guy. And I think Spencer Rattler commands the pocket a little bit better. And no disrespect to Shuck. Shuck does very well, but he's still a rookie. You know what I'm saying? He's still learning the game. I like a lot of parts of his game. Spencer's a little fast in his progression because of his time in the NFL. He's seen them games add up to something that when you see the live rounds versus you don't see him, he's spent time. So the first years where he didn't get a win, that culminated, he played, what was it? 7 games. He started 6 of them. So that's a lot of production, not like 2 or 3 games. I mean, playing in 7 games, starting 6 of them, that's more than enough time for you to get used to the NFL experience to know what you need to do. Now, Spencer's not perfect, but at the end of the day, when he gets a rhythm, man, he's a different quarterback, man. You just got to make sure you keep the offense as balanced as you can to help him. It is. So the Saints are trying to give weapons to Spencer Rattler to move that offense, man. And then you having them stocking the line and piling up on the line, and you're going to throw to Vele, and he a 6'5" wide receiver. I mean, most of the cornerbacks are 6 feet tall. And then you watch the tape of Vele pushing off people and everything. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting, man. I think it's going to be fun. A shout out to Bullet family travel vlog. Much love, fam. All right. Steel Bill, how you doing, sir? Shout out to you as well. Appreciate you. 504 Cole says Q. They saying Mickey gave the 4th round pick to Shaw. It's a birthday gift. Yes, it is. I got that. Man,
He ain't lying.
all I can say, bro, at the end of the day, man, is that they did that with the Sean Payton trade. Remember, he didn't have a lot of picks to work with when he took the Denver job. A lot of the trade capital went, the Russell Wilson way, when they, the whole Russell Wilson thing, they picks was ate up. So when all the Broncos wanted was Sean Payton, and they gave you the 1st round pick, whatever it was. But the thing was, the Saints sent, what was it, a 3rd round pick along with Sean Payton? They ain't even asked for that. But Mickey Loomis packaged that shit and sent it with Sean Payton, and nobody questioned it except for us. Like, why they didn't ask for that pick? They didn't ask for that pick that they sent with Sean. He sent that pick up there to help Sean Payton draft because that's his boy. But, like I said, man, it's just, you always look at that when the Saints and the Broncos trade because, Mickey Loomis is, like I said, he's more VP than GM. Let me just say that. He's more VP than GM. He really is. That's why I advocate for so long for him to take the GM job to be taken away from him or give it up to somebody else, because he really he's more VP to GM, man. That's why he's not as proactive as you want him to be. And I think a lot of the proaction is happening now because Kellen Moore is seeing where his offense is at. He can't deny it anymore. And as the pressure of the season is getting closer and closer, you got to be real with yourself in the evaluation of these players. Like your offense, right? He got to be feeling the pressure. Because you look at what the game tape that we've seen on the Saints first team offense was not good at all. It's not good. Cesar Ruiz struggling his ass off out there. So, I mean, it's not looking good. The Saints are not running the ball with the first team very well. They make a lot of mistakes. They don't have much of a rhythm. So it's just, he has to be a bit concerned. I got to be honest. You got to be concerned because they're not putting nothing together in these games. So we'll see what he does. All right. Anyway, as we get Hemisphere says Q, Mickey letting Sean Payton talk to him about giving up some draft capital, 4th and 7th round picks. Big wide receiver isn't bad though. Saints need a lot of draft picks to many holes on the team. Indeed, we still got a lot of stuff to do. DJ Twigger, shout out to you, brother. Much love. Yeah, I think Cooks, I'm going to have to look that up, bro, on the Cooks contract, bro. Hold on. Let me see what it is right now. And right now, by the way, fam, the Steelers and the Panthers in the 3rd quarter tied up 10 apiece. And the Giants are leading the Patriots at the end of the 1st quarter with about 2 minutes left in the 1st quarter, 7-0. Let me look up Brandon Cooks and see where his contract, what Brandon Cooks' contract is. Hold on, let me pull that up. Yeah. Check that out. Hold on here. Let me put it up on Sport Track here. Yeah, because like I said, I think he's I think Cooks is in trouble, fam. I think his stuff is 2-year, $13 million. He signed a 2-year, $13 million deal back in March. And 2 years for $13 million. That includes a 4.8 signing bonus. Yeah. Yep. 2 years for Cooks. Yeah. So there you go. 2 years. I think he's gonna be in trouble. All right, DJ Twigger, shout out to you, bro. King Chosen One says, who cares about that pick? Won't matter. Hey, man, it's what it is, bro. Key says, Q, you think we'll take that $7 million loss? They guaranteed them. We'll see, my brother. We shall see, indeed, because like I said, man, you trying to build the best team you can. And the Brandon Cooks thing, I try to make sense out of it. At first, I'm like, man, it don't make any sense to bring Brandon Cooks here. He's a smallish wide receiver. And you really need a big wide receiver with speed to go next to Chris Olave. It was the experiment the Saints had when they tried, and like I always talk about, what's his name, Cedric Wilson Jr. Because when Mike Thomas left that year, when his contract was up, the Saints, Dennis Allen signed Cedric Wilson Jr. to a 2-year deal, and he was supposed to be the wide receiver that stepped in at the possession spot. It was supposed to be Cedric Wilson Jr., but he bombed so bad the first time around, it just went away from it. And then you can see what he's doing this year, which is not very much of anything, But like I said, I think it originally didn't make sense to me for them to bring Cooks in here. Didn't make sense. A smallish wide receiver when you had smallish wide receivers who had speed. You had Mason Tipton. He was a guy that was, you don't really need Brandon Cooks, so to speak. You needed a big physical wide receiver. That's why I thought the Saints were going to keep MVS. They didn't. They let MVS go to Seattle, and they brought down a few people and looked at him. But then ultimately, they didn't like what they seen, and then they liked this kid Vele, and they went right back to what they were supposed to do: get a big wide receiver with speed next to Chris and next to Rashid. And Mason Tipton and Pettis playing so well in the preseason that they outplaying Brandon Cooks. Cooks ain't doing nothing compared to Pettis or Mason Tipton. Tipton. I'm sorry. Mason Tipton. So, I mean, do y'all agree with me in this? I mean, yeah. What do you think? Both Mason Tipton and Dante Pettis are outplaying Brandon Cooks. Vele's trade here says hasta la vista to Cooks unless Saints keep 6, which they will not do. Cooks, hasta la vista. KT says, Q, the whole Who Dat Nation should sue Mickey Loomis for negligence of resources and misappropriation of team funds. Shout out to my dog, KT. All right, says King Chose was he making up for that A.T. Perry mistake. How about that? Yeah, this guy better than A.T. Perry, man. I think he's better than A.T. Perry. A.T. Perry has some stuff going on, but I like this guy's temperament. Like if you watch him playing, it's like it's a fight for the ball. He's a physical wide receiver. It's like the guy has a chip on his shoulder as a 7-round receiver to be that productive and to seize the spot. You can almost have a respect for that because he got an underdog mentality. To be appreciative that even in the league for being a 7-round selection. Saints seeing something great in this guy, man. We shall see. Trey said, what's up, Trey said, what if Mason don't make that? That'll be a big, somebody will claim Mason Tipton off the waiver wire. He wouldn't clear waivers, and that would be a huge mistake if Mason Tipton doesn't make the team or Dante Pettis. If it's about people outplaying people, and we know some politics are involved, and there'll be at least 2 or 3 people that make this team that shouldn't make the team. And it happens every damn year. Very rarely, the cuts that you say the Saints going to make, because we do this every year, the cuts that you say the Saints are going to make, they actually make those cuts. There's always political cuts or a political decisions with players on team. There's always a guy or 2 or 3 that is cut, and they outplayed the guy before him. That happens every year. It's just a matter of who is it going to be this year. And if it's indeed the case, if a guy gets caught or kept on, and if it's, I think Mason Tipton make it. If they keep Cooks, then the guy odd man out is Pettis. But that would be a shame because that would be a shame because Pettis he can play in the game for you. You've seen him make really tough catches. Pettis could play. He ain't just a kick returner or punt returner, but he can come in the game and make plays. He got speed. He can go down. You've seen Pettis play. There's no talking about Tipton because you know what time it is with Mason Tipton. If football is football and people outplay people for jobs that are open, then when they acquire Vele from Denver, Cooks is no longer going to be. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to look for a trade or outright cut him. There is no spot for him. He doesn't play special teams. And they got guys that can do what he's doing that are cheaper and younger. So that's a street. That's Cooks in the street right there. That's what I said. When I seen Vele, I was like, who they going to keep? I know you ain't going to cut Mason Tipton. I know you ain't going to cut Pettis. They're younger and cheaper and have a higher ceiling than Brandon Cooks. Vele in, Cooks out. Now they release Donovan Peoples-Jones. That's easy. But when they come down to the 53 cuts, shit. Cooks is done. Stick a fork in Cooks. James, what's up, brother? James said, what's up, Big Q? Cooks is still here unless he flashed the attitude that made Peyton ship him off. I think the guy they traded for is a need and insurance behind our small injury prone receivers. Interesting thought process there, brother James. Interesting. Except, Kellen Moore said that this guy is going to be big for the Saints, and I don't see them trading 2 picks to get a guy here and then make him be a backup to 3 small wide receivers. And the fourth wide receiver or the fifth wide receiver, depending on how you look at it, with Mason Tipton, is outplaying Cooks. What have y'all heard from Brand? Honestly, look, I'm not going at Cooks. I'm just speaking in manners of. I'm just talking in manner of production, right? Let's keep it honest. How many people out there seeing Cooks? How did Cooks perform for you guys in preseason and training camp thus far? Because anybody out there said that Brandon Cooks outperformed one Mason Tipton or Dante Pettis? Can anybody say he did? Honestly. Did he? Because I think Vele is one of the 3 top wide receivers. I don't think you give up 2 picks to get the guy here and then make him a 4th receiver. That don't make any sense. You see what I'm saying? Because the picks mean thing. The picks is money. You giving up money. That's like money to them. That's big. To give up a 4th rounder. They gave up a 4th round pick for a 7th round player who they believe can be a starter. They gave up 2 picks for a 7th round guy from last year who they believe, he gonna definitely be a top 3. He might be 2 in their system, but definitely one of the 3. If he's one of the 3, I think Cooks is done, man. I don't see how you keep him. What's up? Stacy says, he says 4 first offensive linemen, 6 offensive line drafted in top 3 rounds are currently on the Saints roster. Shout out to my dude. Stacy, much love, my brother. Appreciate you, bro, as always, in the stream. All right. Shout out to you, brother James. I hear what you're saying, bro. We'll see how it play, man. It's an interesting standpoint. Byron says, Q, my 5 wide receivers, Olave, Shaheed, Vele, Tipton, and Pettis. Not Cooks. They won't keep 6 receivers. I agree, bro. I think Cooks is the odd man out here. When I seen Vele, I was like, man, Cooks is done. Mason Tipton's better than him and cheaper than him. Yes, waiver wire will be interesting. What's up, Ultraremo? Shout out to you, man. Oh, Wake Forest, you talking about A.T. Perry. Ain't you talking about it from Wake Forest, A.T. Perry? Yeah, they cut A.T. Perry. I think A.T. ended up with Sean Payton some kind of way. Yeah, he cut him. Yeah, Dennis Allen cut A.T. Perry. And Sean Payton, I think, ended up getting him. Yeah, and that was another dude. He did that with our kicker. Sean Payton got our kicker up, that old kicker. Now, Group A is turned into a good one. You got to give Dennis Allen credit for Group A because he did. I wasn't happy about that at the time because they cut our old kicker. And for Sean Payton needed a kicker, so they put him in the street. Didn't make no sense to me. But Sean Payton ended up with the kicker, and he cut A.T. Perry he lied about it or something. He lied about it. Dennis Allen lied about it. He said when they cut A.T. Perry, they asked him, we was going to cut him and then sign him on the practice squad or something like that. No. What'd he say? He was hurt. No, he cut him because it was something like he lied about it some kind of way with the whole A.T. Perry thing. Because they asked him a question, what you going to do? And he says, we're going to release him and then sign him on the practice squad or something like that or something. No, he was hurt. He said he was going to release him, and then it was some ridiculous bullshit that he said, but you could tell they just did it to help Peyton out. What's up, Ro? Shout out to my brother Ro, man. Much love, bro. Mickey said, Five Cool says, Mickey says Sean is my best friend. He does consider Sean Payton a very good friend. He does. Katie says, Q, the streak continues. I called the undrafted free agent gems Rico Payton, Rashid Shaheed, Deontay Harris Hardy, Anthony Orji, Torrey Sally Simpkins. Your boy has an eye. Yes, indeed, man. Shout out to my brother KT. My brother KT he's seeing them now. I don't think he see too much out of Easton Kilty. KT, let me ask you this. You do have a good eye, bro. Let me ask you about some of these backup offensive linemen. You mentioned Torrey Sally Simpkins. What do you think about Easton Kilty and the rest of them backups the Saints have? What do you think about them? Put that in the chat, bro. I love to hear what you think about that. All right. Okay. So, Elder, from what I'm hearing, the Saints can get a fourth back for Adebo, but it has something to do with many snap sides to get them plays or something. We'll be looking forward to that, bro. I think the Saints just thinking they're making the moves that's making the team better. All right. Jay Huntsberry says, yeah, Velas can contribute. That's the thing. The versatility of Velas Jones Jr. Like, he's one of these guys that was utilized a lot in the preseason games. Like how they use Velas, they use him as a running back, they use him as a wide receiver, and his speed to Kellen Moore's offense, because he loves to have speed. All these guys are 4 something guys, and Velas Jones Jr. is one of the top 3 or 4 fastest Saints team players, and he can play special teams for you. So he has that going on for him. So I would not like Dante Pettis and Velas Jones Jr. should make the Saints team. Velas as the 4th running back, and you guys got your first 2 guys. You can fill in the 3rd, but Velas Jones Jr. should make the team. Now, what happened with Devin Neal and Clyde Edwards-Helaire? We'll see if the rumors are true about the Saints looking for running backs in the trade market right now. Yeah. He says. Jason says, yeah, not a 4th though. Q, damn, Peyton getting over. That's how I seen it at first, man. I had to go study up on the young wide receiver, man. We're gonna see how it goes though. All right, Tanya says Cook's been low key missing in action. He gave me the same vibes when he left last time. That's what I'm saying. We haven't heard anything about Brandon Cooks. I mean, very sparsely have we heard Cooks tearing up the camp and all this. All I know is I've been hearing Mason Tipton and Dante Pettis making plays. Cooks is nowhere to be found. And now with Vele here, I think Cooks is done. That's my opinion. I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. All right, KT says, Q, what are your thoughts about possibly trading for Travis Etienne or Brian Robinson Jr.? Travis Etienne would be interesting because he's one of these dudes, man, that can, but he got injury concerns, don't he? Travis Etienne is like, he don't have these, but he's got all the talent in the world, bro. He got all the talent. He's a guy that he got speed on the outside. He can run inside. He can catch the ball out the backfield. He is decent blocking. He speeds up your offense. So I would be more inclined to have him than I would be a Brian Robinson Jr. Simply because if we have issues with Elvin Kamara, let's say Elvin has a little bump here, he got to sell out a game or 2. We can still have a guy with a similar, not exactly the same, but a similar skill set with Travis Etienne. Or if you go with Brian Robinson, just the north, I ain't gonna say just the north-south guy because he's more versatile than that. But he also is another player that has injury concerns, right? He kind of, at first we was looking for him, Washington was looking at him to be something, and he just wasn't there. Maybe it was the offensive line. I don't know. But he came on strong later on in that system last year with Jaden Daniels running that. But who wouldn't? Jaden Daniels ran offense. The running back gonna get some work. But yeah, either one of those guys would work. But Travis Etienne would be something different. He would add speed and just overall talent to game. To me, I think he's a more complete back than Brian Robinson Jr., even though Robinson's a little different than him. But I would probably like Etienne, but I don't know if the Saints will go for that, man. What do you give up to get this guy? More picks? Maybe not this year, but the following year, or I don't know. We'll see, bro. Maul says, Q, Mickey can't do 2 things at once. Online, goddammit. Online now, man. That's not right. That's unfair. Man. Don't talk at me like that, bro. All right, 504 says Q. Do you think Stutzman makes Warren? I don't know if he makes him expendable, but he's an insurance policy. I think ultimately Danny Stutzman will be Demario Davis's replacement. That's what I believe. That's what he brought here because they paid Pete Werner last year. They gave him a multi-year contract, so he's a part of the long-range plan. Demario Davis isn't. So Stutzman is ultimately going to be working next to Pete Werner. That's how I see it. All right, Tanya says offense wasn't doing jack. Now they want to cram for the exam. Reminds me of myself at school last minute. Thank you. Shout out to Tanya. All right, what's up, student? Shout out to student, man. All right, Fire on the Bayou. What's up, fam? Says Loomis too stupid and stubborn. Shout out to Fire on the Bayou. Much love, fam. Appreciate you. All right, he believes Kendre Miller will be number 3. Who's number 3, bro? I mean, number 2, bro. If Kendre is number 3, who you got as 2? KT says, Q, does Simpkins become a starting guard with injury to Penning? Nope. It'll be injury to Penning means it'll be your boy, number 7. What is his number 77? What number he wears? Dylan Raduntz. Raduntz is going to be that starter right there. I think Dylan Raduntz will be that guy. I think he would be the guy. I don't think Simpkins step in unless he gets hurt. That's what I think. And wouldn't it be fire if Simpkins took Cesar Ruiz's job from he stepped in and took Cesar Ruiz's job? Wouldn't that be cool? Because Cesar Ruiz is not doing his job, man. He ain't doing it right, man. I don't understand how Simpkins can do what he do, and then this guy been here for 6 years and out there struggling against 2s and 3s. Like what? They paying that dude all that money. That dude is really not that good, man. I just don't get it with the whole. I don't get it with the Cesar Ruiz thing. I just don't get it. Cesar Ruiz, at least Penning has the excuse, if you want to give it to him, that he played 1 game in his rookie season. He played 4 or 5 games the second year because he played so bad at left tackle that he crashed and burned, and the Saints sparsely used him after that. And then the third year, they moved him at right tackle, and he played the bulk of the year. Right? So the first 2 years, the man played like a total of 5 games. That's not much development for a first-round draft pick offensive tackle. That's not much, right? And then, he's undeveloped right now. He playing guard. So, they moved him to guard. But you can't say that about Cesar Ruiz. Cesar Ruiz never truly played the center position for the Saints. He started doing it when Peyton first drafted him, a little bit here. Then he got hurt, and they put McCoy at center and left that shit alone. He been playing guard from that spot forwardly. They didn't even switch him. Now, remember, they had a plan. If something went wrong, they was going to switch him to center, but they sparsely did that. So when last year happened with Lucas Patrick, we all thinking that they was going to kick Cesar inside and put Patrick at guard. They played Patrick at the center position and kept Ruiz over there. That tell you everything you know about him playing the center. Then when he was at guard, Cesar Ruiz is just incredibly inconsistent. I don't get it. 2 minute reps. This dude played so many reps as a starting NFL lineman, and he's not at Pro Bowl level. And this dude a first round draft pick, and he's nowhere near a Pro Bowl level. He should be one of the best linemen the Saints have with all that shit this dude done been, all these games he done played. I don't get it about Cesar Ruiz, bro. I don't get it. What's up, Relly? Shout out to you, bro. What's up, Chantel? Shout out to Chantel, man, for being in the building. Yeah, Jerome Ford, Chantel. Ford, there's supposed to be rumored that the Saints are supposed to be looking at Ford. I mean, we'll find out one way or the other, won't we? All right. Anyway, let's keep moving. Shout out to Chantel. All right. By the way, Chantel, what do you think about Shador? You think they cut Shador? They probably gonna put that boy. They're gonna put Shador on the pup list. Watch. I wish they would cut him. It's going to be interesting because they got him at 4. I'm like, man, Dylan Gabriel has played worse than Shedeur Sanders. I mean, he's played worse than Shedeur. You know, in practice and games, it's going to be interesting because they're not going to keep 4 guys. You know, I heard they starting Joe Flacco, but what do y'all think? Let me know how y'all feel about that. Chantel, shout out to you. All right, what's up, Dex? Dex 504, what's up, bro? Shout out to you, man. B Jizzle, what's up, my brother? He said, I'm sitting here thinking we really passed up on Dart. No, the Saints wanted Dart. Remember that? They said they was looking at Shuck, but the rumor said the Saints wanted Jackson Dart. They wanted Jackson Dart. Y'all remember that? Put 1 in the chat if you remember that. They wanted Jackson Dart, but the Giants got up there, and you remember the Giants because he wasn't supposed to go that high. The Giants took him higher than what people thought he should have went. Giants picked that man up, but the Saints, they said the Saints wanted Dart, and then they pivoted to Tyler Shuck. But I remember a lot of the rumor mills, the Saints was trying to go at Jackson Dart. They wanted Jackson Dart. They just couldn't get him. That's what I remember hearing at the time. Put 1 in the chat if y'all remember that. And then they try to say, well, it always been about Tyler Shuck. No, it wasn't. They was trying to get Dart, and the Giants got up there and got him earlier. So it is what it is. But thank you, B Jizzle. Shout out, bro. All right. Anyway, let me keep it moving and grooving down there. Y'all hit the like button, man. What's up? Hemisphere says, I don't think they want to start Shuck behind that old line. Indeed, right? Dude, you know what? That's what I'm saying. If he's not ready to go, you could destroy Tyler Shuck. You can destroy us and set his development back. Not totally destroy him because he's a tough guy, but you can set his development back badly if you put him in a position where he's not mentally ready to happen in the NFL. Just break him down and destroy him. Your best option is to go with a guy that's seen them live rounds before. And like I said, it hits differently if you're the Saints. If you start Tyler, and if Tyler struggles, you pivot to Shuck versus you start Shuck and then you pivot to Rattler. You get what I'm saying? It hits differently. Like we started Shuck and Shuck stuck it up for 3 games. They had to get him off the field and bring Spencer Rattler in there. That hits differently. It hits big time differently. Then you just putting the Rat Man in there and seeing what he can do. I think you'll be all right with the Rat Man, man. I think you're going to be all right. All right. Yeah. Brian says, if you're trying to win, you go with the Rattler. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, if you're trying to win, I agree, bro. All right. Yeah, he said Cooks is guaranteed. They're going to cough up that money. Y'all know Mickey Loomis ain't worrying about that money. Hey, well, I'm not worried about that goddamn money. It's not my money. When are you guys going to get it? Oh, I know. I don't even believe in a cap. I often said the cap is as real as the Easter Bunny. Santa Claus. The Loch Ness Monster. Oh, I know, goddammit now. It's just cap to me is as real as aliens. Or Predator. I seen that movie. That was scary. Oh, that guy. Why does he have? Why is the Predator wearing roster dreads? Oh, that's crazy. I seen him out like the Predator. He has dreads. You ever notice that? I know. I was like, oh my God. I don't think he's real. I hope not. He's like 7 feet tall. Oh gosh, that's scary. But that's as real as that. That's what I think. Yeah, Mickey don't, man. Mickey. That Predator. Oh my God. Oh, that scares me. I was eating my clam chowder. I spit it all up when he opened his mouth wide. I was like, oh my God, look at that. That thing's gotta be real. Look at his teeth in his mouth. Oh my God. I spit up my clam chowder. I had to go sleep up under my wife. That scared me. Oh my God. All right. T-Roy said, what up, Q? You think the offensive line we just got in the trade can take? No, bro. Not yet. Not yet, T-Roy. Not quite yet, bro. Not yet. All right. Shout out to Brent. What's up? What's up, Rich? Shout out to you, bro. Rich in the building says, Q, need a vet QB to be in our QB room. Thank you, bro.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
All right, thank you, bro. Always them Shout out to you on Instagram, man. Shout out to the fam listening on IG. All right. Thank you for that, Rich. Yeah, a QB to steady the run, bro. We'll see. Jake Haener's the third option, man. But do they really have a room for him? I don't know, man. Third quarterback. We'll see. Byron says Q. Kellen Moore confirmed. He said during the media day, not done yet. Yeah, indeed. I believe that, bro. And we saying that. It shouldn't be a surprise. We've been saying that because I kept telling people, fam, put one in the chat. Didn't we? We were saying this in the Great Saint Think Tank. The Who That Nation, like, fam, the defense making all these moves, the offense sitting on their ass like, we good. Now all of a sudden they starting to trade week after week because they starting to realize that the team is not what they see it as. And we said this, and the moves that they making was what we talked about. And I said, fam, see, he don't know his team all the way. He don't know them like you do. He just got here. He doing his evaluations, and some of the evaluations is finally catching up to your thought process. And I was saying that because, man, we know what this team needs. We know what they needs because we seen what works. So I'm just glad they're doing it, bro. High value, says Pettis always gets at least one crucial catch. It would be tough to see him go. Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you. But yeah, I hope not, bro. But y'all know every year there's at least 2 or 3 guys that make this team and they shouldn't make the team. Now I ain't gonna piss y'all off and say who I think who's gonna make the team because I ain't gonna have y'all mad at me. I ain't gonna tell y'all who I think the 3 gonna be, but that's at least 2 or 3 that make the team and they shouldn't make the damn team. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know. What's up, brother Tedra? Said Cooks was getting the veterans treatment, so he didn't have the reps to stand out. He might be gone, but keep that in mind. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you, bro. I will. Thank you for that thought, man. What's up, brother Bond? Shout out to you. Appreciate you, fam. Jay Hunt says, how many opportunities did he get? Cooks has proven to be reliable and has a better career profile than our young receivers, reliable and mostly available. This is true too, bro. This is true too. What he says, what does Cooks look like? I mean, listen, you make a point that they might want a veteran, another veteran at the bottom. I mean, you got Olave, you got Rashid, these guys are veterans. You want an older veteran in your wide receiver room. Cooks is the guy, but I'm just saying in terms of youth and practicality, Brandon Cooks doesn't play. I mean, because this is the thing. This is what I'm saying about the Brandon Cooks. Y'all are making great points about his veteran and his profile and all this kind of stuff. What I'm saying is the Saints' top 3 wide receivers are going to be Olave, Rashid, and Vele. They traded picks for Vele. He's in the top 3, which means Cooks isn't. And if you're not in the top 3, then you have to be doing something on the special team side. We know Cooks don't do that. He don't kick return and all this kind of stuff. Plus, there are guys in camp that has outplayed him, and that can do what the Saints want for a significantly cheaper rate. Like I said, the Saints don't really care about the money. Look what they're doing. They got $20-something million to play with. But all I'm saying in the end is Mason Tipton and Dante Pettis should make the team because of the fact that they earned it. Now, I know they're keeping Cooks' reps down to a degree, but he wasn't even, you haven't heard him bubbling out at camp. You haven't heard Brandon Cooks' name like that, but you have heard Mason Tipton. You have heard Dante Pettis. So it's something to think about as well. So we'll see how it all works, bro. Y'all could be right. We'll see. We shall see. All right. Anyway, what's up, emotional fan says, who that to you, my man? Appreciate you. Oh, that drop up. Shout out to you, bro. How you doing, man? Big ups to you, bro. Much love, man. Thank you for being here, bro. Good to see you doing all right, my brother. Out there running the roads, man. Be safe out there. What's up, Jamaica? Shout out to Jamaica, man. Let me kind of get on down here. Kevin McKnight, what's up, bro? Said Cook's staring in flights and training camp. There you go. There you go. Big Smoke, what's up, fam? Says need a tight end. That's another one. Maybe shouldn't be looking at running backs. We should be looking at tight end. We could definitely use that. But perhaps Foster Moreau is coming back. We don't know. Katie said, Q, looks like I will continue my streak on calling undrafted free. Yeah, indeed, bro. Keep it going, bro. You made a lot of great points. All right. Broncos fan for life says, y'all got a dog there. Okay, thank you, Broncos fan for life. He says we got one of the Broncos family members is letting us know about our wide receiver. Y'all got a dog. There was a combo of him being number 2 wide receiver out here in Denver for this year. I was shocked when we let him go. He's very reliable, good hands in traffic. He says several teams wanted him. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you for that, man. Great. Appreciate that. Because we've been checking up on him, man. So we got a dog. You know, and I appreciate that. All right, KT says, Q, the streak of called and undrafted gems continues that make the team Simpkins, but puts her. Okay. All right, KT, give Crazy. Give him a round of applause. Okay, KT, you got it, brother. Brother James said, you know what, we might be wrong in area. What I mean is sometimes they feel a need when someone gets injured or there is a concern, they may have decided on trading for a bigger receiver instead. I got you, James. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you for that clarification, my brother. Thank you. All right. Okay, Adrian says Ruiz needs to be at backup at center. Ruiz is struggling badly, man. He's struggling. Against the second tier, it looked bad. They were starting right, and usually the press don't get on Ruiz like that. They use, it's usually, and I think the Ruiz has been not getting the press about his game over the last couple of years simply because we've been focused and fixating in on Trevor Penning. Penning has looked worse than Ruiz. But now that Penning, he's been playing better and he's hurt right now you're starting to see it. And I've been saying it for a while about Ruiz's game. He's not getting any better. Corvadia says Runduns will start at the guard on the left side. Ruiz needs to be replaced. See, family members know. Man, I'm telling y'all, man, that he out there. I don't know what's going on with him, man. But this is not something new. Ruiz has only had his only decent year was the year that he balled out to get the paycheck. But the years prior to that, he missing blocks, not knowing his assignments, slow-footed. He balled out that, you ain't gonna see he even balled out, but he just played better than the mediocre years he had prior to him getting paid. Then he got paid, and then it just been mediocre. Like I'm saying, he's not, I don't want to keep going over it, but the dude is not where he's supposed to be in his development. Look at the family members, man, all the ones. The dude is, it's just crazy, man. I don't know what to say about it, fam. I don't know. I'm just glad y'all see it too, because I've been speaking about the Ruiz debacle for a while, man. I could be lying, man. Oh man, that's right. Oh, I don't like that one. Oh, that alien, man. Goddamn, he got dreads. Y'all notice that about the alien? He got dreads. You know, I was like, why does he got dreads? He got some bad tech too. You know, I mean, man, he was kicking Arnold's ass, man. Arnold had to drop a tree on top of him to kill him. And he still was alive. You know, I mean, goddamn. That was a bad son of a gun now. Oh, that scared me. Oh my God. I had to go cuddle up under my wife. I don't know. Oh my God. The next month, I had every light on in the house. I couldn't tell her why I was scared, And I had to hold a pistol and, yeah, I know he got a scope. He got a triangular scope. I was scared. Yeah. Willie says, Q, your pops was right about some of these players' performance, so don't need to be. Yes, indeed, bro. Thank you, Willie. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, Pop's been, dropping some good game, man, about some of these guys. He's not impressed by Cesar Ruiz, too, but it just tickles him when family members refer to Cesar Ruiz as Caesar Salad. Yeah, it's Caesar Salad Ruiz. Yeah, goddamn right, Caesar Salad. Not King Caesar or whatever, Emperor Caesar, all that bullshit. Hell nah. He ain't been playing. It's Caesar Salad Ruiz is perfect. Steel Bill said Cooks will buck if he don't get any playing time. Indeed. What's up, brother Jeff? Says, shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate you for being in the stream, man. Much love, fam. All right. Yeah, says, yeah. Mackining, hope I'm saying that right. Hopefully the starters can tackle. Indeed. Yeah, we got a lot to look at going into this next. A couple of days away from that Saturday matchup against Coach Payton's Bronco club, man. And we're going to see some stuff, fam. We're going to see some stuff. We're going to really see whether or not what the Saints are doing because, man, I mean, The offense moving a little too late, if you ask me. This some of the moves that should have been happening. But yeah, I'm just glad they are. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, debacle. Yeah. the Cesar Ruiz debacle. Oh yeah. It is definitely that, Desi. Ruiz is a problem. I'm saying Redunce and Sipkin start guards. My guess. Redunce is going to start because Penning is not there. He's the top. He's the Saints. What I guess you call him the Saints' sixth offensive lineman. I think that's why they was trying to cross train on to play tackle and guard, which is ridiculous. But they're trying to do that James Hurst thing, I guess. They had Hurst playing tackle and guard. They was trying to do that, and it was bad. Dylan Redunce is too slow-footed to play a blindside tackle. That's just not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it. He was the one that gave up the strip fumble on Spencer Rattler. That guy beat Redunce around and came back from behind and knocked the ball out of Spencer Rattler's hand. He beat Redunce to do that. That is not a good sign. I don't know who decided to do that, but like I said, I just wanted to slap the piss out of whoever decided that was a good idea. I said that. I was like, I just want to slap the piss out of whoever did. Who did that? Well, hold on, goddammit, you're not gonna lay your hands on me. Oh, it was you, Mickey? Oh, I know, I can't take the blame, right now, I can't do it. All right. So anyway, man, like I said, man, it's gonna be we got a lot to see, but in a couple of days we're gonna go from there. But yeah, we have to do better, man. So the whole point of the matchup against the Broncos, and I'm working on having a special guest to kind of talk about that thing coming up tomorrow. We'll see. We can line up a guest here, but the reality is, man, the Saints they're trying to get better. Adding Vele, the big 6'5" wide receiver who runs a 4.47 in the 40, catches most of his passes in deep dark terrain. 26 first downs, average 11 yards per catch is a positive. It is a positive to go along with Chris and Rashid, our speedsters. The backup center is better than any backup center not named Simpkins, because I think Simpkins should. I don't think the Saints going to keep him at. When they traded for Fortner, I was like, okay, they're going to play Simpkins as a guard, but as the third string center. But it's no true competition at the guard position for nothing, because Dylan Redunce was too busy getting cross-trained as opposed to them just working on his guard game. Let him be the guard and you figure out the tackle situation. It just didn't happen. So now the offense is trying to get it together. We see the defense has the personnel, the offense, and now they're saying the Saints looking for a potential another running back. Why not a tight end? You need another tight end, or they might go along with one of our young tight ends. Perhaps Foster Monroe will be ready for the regular season. I don't know, but even if Foster's ready for the regular season, I wouldn't totally trust that with him not being able to practice the entire preseason, and then you throw him into action in the regular season. I wouldn't trust that. I'll be looking for a tight end. So like I said, this stuff will happen after the preseason is over with and you start seeing guys get cut. The Saints are going to start pilfering people. You might see 3 or 4 people get picked for the Saints. You're going to see some movement, man. You're going to see some movement. All right. So anyway, man, let me get ready to get out. Y'all do me a service, man. Hit the like button. Hit that damn like button. Hit the subscribe button. And by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. And I'm going to go back to our poll question that was in the post section of the platform page with over 100 people voting. Let me go back to that poll. And this is the poll question I'm talking about, family, about the trade. How do y'all feel about the trade that was grade the trade of the Saints trade for Devaughn Vele? Grade the trade, Who Dat Nation. Over 100 people voted on it. They said 83% of the Who Dat Nation says good trade. 17% says awful trade. So thank y'all for voting there. You can continue to vote. I will bounce and check out this poll tomorrow, as I'll be back to talk more about some of this other stuff going on with the Saints as we move forward, man, getting ready for the final preseason game on Saturday, where the Saints matching up with the Broncos. A lot of stuff going on with the black and gold, man. Let me tell you, it's popping. All right, so what's up, Muse? Shout out to Muse. Good to see you in the chat, man. All right. All right, yeah. Slim says Vele is taller, can't guard Mike. Just hope he's a dog or twice as dog as Mike. It's not too many people a dog like Mike T was. But one of the Denver Broncos family members came in and said that the man is a good one, and he was actually pushing for a starting position according to what they're saying, and they like the man. So the Saints giving them extra compensation. Could be Sean Payton, could be thanking Sean Payton for sending Vele this way. It's probably Sean Payton's first get back for the Saints. Hey, y'all been taking a lot from y'all to build this team up. Here go, give me. I'm gonna get y'all back to this. Here you go. Might be a gift from Coach Payton. We'll see. Bullets travel vlog says, Q, are you going to any of the games this year? I'm not certain, bro. I'm waiting and see, bro. I gotta wait. They gotta show me something, bro. I gotta put that show me shirt on, man. They gotta show me something. If they don't, we'll be in the place, bro. We'll show if they show me something, bro. But I'll wait a month and see how they show. If they playing hardcore, bro, I'll go to them games, man. I got seats. They got to show me something. I'm in my show me stage right now, bro. They got to show me something. I think the team is going in the right direction, bro. But we'll see, bro. You might see me in the place. We'll see. John says would trade Nick Saldiveri for a 7th Vele. Nobody wants Nick Saldiveri, bro. Nobody wants that sucker, man. He can't stay healthy, man. It's a damn shame. But the smoke will be on Kendre Miller. See, it's a crazy double standard. The smoke will be on Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller can't stay healthy, but Nick Saldiveri don't have nowhere near the games played. That is, man, and he's still on the team. They ain't trying to get rid of Nick Saldiveri, and I'm like, man, dude. We gotta keep it all balanced and keep it all the way correct. Nick Saldiveri is way worse than anything that Kendre Miller ever put together in terms of at least that guy's seen the field. We can't get that other guy on the damn field. Can't get him on the field. Not at all. All right, anyway, that'll be it. Listen, man, I appreciate y'all for chiming on the show. Y'all do me a service. Hit that damn like button. Hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed, man. We'll be back here tomorrow. The Saints will be doing the press conference on Friday. We'll be gearing up for the preview game, the preview stream, rather, on Friday, breaking down the game and the latest news and notes from the Saints. All that on tomorrow's coma. I'm going to holler at y'all on the flip side. Much love to the family. Y'all check out our sponsors and links in the description section below. And I'm going to holler at y'all next one. Much love. Peace. Who that to you? Peace.
Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, 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 Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. You're listening to the sports coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. So check out the Pro Shop and Who Dat too.